Just thought I'd show you these while I'm around here. This is my tulips, the variety Sylvestris. Absolutely superb. Soaking up the sun, putting on a lovely show. I really do like those. Well, hello all and welcome to Wayne's Allotment. Hope you're all keeping safe and doing well. And what have I got for you this time round? Well, I get and put my onions out, so I show you all the work involved with that process. I give you a plot tour. There's not a great deal to look at, but I'll give you a walk round the plot. I do a bit of potting on. And I also have a bit of fun with some seeds. More on that later. So without further ado, let's crack on. Thanks a lot. So what I've done there is fork that over, and I'm now adding a bit of manure to it. And I'm now also adding some of my own compost. Now that I've added some manure and some of my own compost, next job, a few handfuls pelletised chicken muck. We now, next job on, get and work that in with my tiller cultivating hoe, call it what you like. And the final thing that we're going to add is some of this from Marshall's garlic, onion and shallot feed. And what I'm now doing is just putting the last of the pegs in. And that is it, all done, ready to take the onions. Right, the last onions to go in. So that's it, that's the last of the onions. So I'll just show you what we've done. Right, that's it, that's all my onions in. You've seen what I've done with regards to the process of preparing the ground. The weed suppressant fabric is down for that reason. These will now be hooped. It will then be netted with some EnviroMesh netting, because you can guarantee that if I don't put any netting on, I'll get problems with allium fly. I never have had problems, but not with onions. But you can guarantee this year, if I don't put any netting on, guarantee I'll get hit with allium fly. So that's it, that's them all done. Next time you see these, they'll all be netted and covered. A little something that I've got to put right. In my last video I said about my celery and celeriac, potting that on, which I did do, but I forgot to show you. So without further ado, here it is now. A little something that I'm going to show you now. I've got some celery, well I've got some celery and some celeriac that wants potting on, and I'm going to do the celery. That's the celery, and just before we ended up being locked down, shut down, locked out, whatever, I got this from a local garden centre near to me, and it's been left in here, and I've just watered it. And if you look, can you see there's roots just starting to come through, and so this is obviously wanting potting on. Now what I'm going to do, because this looks very much like the celeriac, I've reverted back to the numbers, but what I've done is it's 8 plants in there, it says. So I've done 4 numbers, straightforward numbers there, then I've done 4 and I've put PF for peat free. So what I'm going to be doing is 4 will go in the normal clover compost, 4 will then go in the sheep's wool compost. So I've started to fill them 4, so I'll do them first, then I'll do the 4 into the clover compost. So once I've done them, I'll bring you back and show you what I've done. There we go, so that's 8 celery. The variety is Victoria F1. Those 4 are in clover, peat-based compost. Those 4 are in the sheep's wool, peat-free compost. So it'll be interesting to see how they go from now on, how well they grow until it's ready for them to go out. Be a nice little comparison to do there, that will. Today is the 19th of April, it's a Sunday. I've got a bit of a potting on job to do. Some pumpkins, variety is Atlantic Giant. I've never really had any success with pumpkins, but having said that, last year I only really dabbled at it, and this year I want to make a bit more of a concerted effort. So we're going to pot these on into these, I think these are 5-inch pots. So we'll crack on and get that job done. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit compost. In fact, actually, before we go any further, let's put a bit of perlite, only a little bit, but we'll just put a bit of perlite into that. I think that's gonna, yeah, that's going to be enough. I just thought, let's this is clover multi-purpose compost. And so what I'll do, I'll put just a little bit at the bottom of the pot, and then leaving the pumpkin in the pot, we'll just work our way round. Working, using my fingers to work that in so we take any air gaps out. Just to make a, with any luck I'll be able to take the pot out and there'll be a nice hole left for the pot to go back into. I'll take the label out. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, there we go, nice hole there. Be nice to see what the root structure's like on that. Oh, look at that. That's very nice. Very nice root structure. So we'll pop that into there. Firm that in. A little bit more compost around there. Firming it down as we go. These have been in the house and I'm going to leave them out here now. So that's one done. That's right. Just firm the compost down. I put a bit of last minute decision with the perlite was just so that it helps with a bit of aeration around the roots. I think I'll take that pot out of there now. Take the label out. I'll have a look, see, should be a good root structure on this I would think. Oh yeah, very nice. Get that in there. Firm that all down. We'll give them a good watering. And there we go. Pumpkin Atlantic Giant potted on. Well, you catch me in the garden, and what you've just seen there is me boring holes into this barrel to plant some carrots. It's a thing that I did about 2 years ago. I don't know why I didn't do it last year, and I produced one or two quite decent sized carrots. Bought special seed for it. To do it this year I bought some seeds from the Malvern Autumn Show, So I thought I'll just show you the process that's involved. It's long-winded, it's very fiddly, but I'm not particularly bothered about entering competitions. I'm just doing this 100% just totally for fun. So I just thought I'd show you a little bit of something different I'm doing. As you've seen me boring a hole with me bit of downspout, I've been filling this with compost. It's nothing particularly special, but it is sieved. It's just clover, multi-purpose compost, but it's sieved, and you've got to be very careful trying to get it just into the hole. As you can see, I haven't quite managed that. And then we just need to work it down. This is part of the reason you saw in my last video me doing my parsnips. This was part of the reason for me doing the parsnips that way, because I thought about when I did these. There we go, that's all that. We'll just clear what we can from around the hole. We'll just put a little bit more in. I haven't sown any seed in any of these yet, but there we go. That's all ready now to take the seed. I've already done 5, that's 6. I might be able to get about 4 more in. When I'm finished, I'll bring you back and show you what I've done. Right, you've seen me making the holes, you've seen me filling them with the compost. These are the seeds that we're going to be sowing. They're Medwin's own selection, and on the back there's a little bit of information as to what to do. So next job is get these seeds sown. Right, as you can see, got the label in. There's plenty of seed, more than enough seed. I'm going to sow about 3 or 4 seeds per station, and then thin them out as we go. See how they go, but just put 3 or 4 in for now, covering them again with a little bit of fine compost. I shall give them a watering, but I shall use I shan't use a watering can, I should use a small bottle. As I say, this is something I'm doing just for fun, no other reason. I'm not bothered about trying to enter Harrogate or anything, any other shows at all for that matter. I'm just going to do this just totally for fun. I'm not going to firm them down too much. Right, give them a watering. Just need a bit more compost to cover some of these. I did these, as I say, a couple of years ago. Great bit of fun, thoroughly enjoyed it. Right, put a little bit more compost on them and that's done. Well, you've just seen me put in some tree grease onto my fruit trees. I always put that on and it does help with regards reducing the amount of pest damage to the fruit a bit later on in the year. So I just like to put about a 3 or 4 inch band all the way around the trunk of the tree, and it certainly helps. Right, I think it's about time we went on a plot tour, so I'll spin you round and you can have a look round the plot, see what's going on. Right, starting down the bottom corner here, and the garlic, it's looking really nice, and a few tulip sylvestris in there. A few odd strug tulips in that tub, just adds a little bit of colour. This bed here that had the strawberries in, they're all out and are now in the veg trug, I've got one or two plans for that, which you'll see develop as time goes on. This bed here, that is going to have the courgettes in it. Working back, this bed here, I've got 2 rows of beetroot, I've got Boltardi and Solendra, and then I've got a row of early Nantes carrots. Coming back again, broad beans. These are Claudia Aquadulce. I've had to put odd 1 or 2 little plants in that were spares at home because there's 1 or 2 that haven't come through. Some spring onion, white Lisbon. I've got some more of them to go out. But they're coming along okay. And then this bed here, these are my shallots. I have to stop and think for a minute then. These are the shallots. These are doing nicely. They're let me just spin you around to get out the sun, and you see how they're splitting up. See, they're coming along really well, starting to split up a little. Moving on to the lettuce. This has been godsend, this cover. Been absolutely superb. I'm chuffed to bits with it. I shall close it all up again when I've finished. But yes, can't go wrong there. They're doing really nice. And the little job that I've done today is putting in, starting at the top. I don't know whether you can see so well, but I've put some red Russian kale, and then along here I've put some Clapton cauliflower and some Marathon calabrese. The calabrese and the cauliflower are both clubroot resistant, so that's them. There's a bit of open ground left here. We've got a few plans for things here. Parsnips in there. Nothing's coming up with those yet, but and a bit of a row of beetroot. But there, and give the parsnips time. They're not going to rush, that's for sure. Nice little bit of blossom on the fruit trees. This one is definitely brown bread. A fellow plot holder said, "Oh no, leave it, wait and just see." But I think we can honestly say that is brown bread. These are pears. As you can see, there's gonna be, I know these aren't all gonna stay, but if they did, it would be brilliant, because there's gonna be a really good harvest on those. But I'm quite pleased with them. The other trees, those 2 over there, are apple, as is that one. This bed here, that's going to have my Atlantic giant pumpkins in it. Doing a bit of work on that at the moment. Hearst green shaft peas. That netting will come off those in the next few days. And I shall put some canes in and weave string around those. Some more tulips. These are some £1 specials. Very nice colour, I must admit. I'm very pleased with them. These are all finished now, but again, they were £1.50 sort of thing from the pound shop. My old tulip sylvestris, brilliant. This bed here, yes, I'm a little ashamed of this because it's a bit of a dog's dinner, but once I've finished harvesting the few spring onions that are left there, we'll blitz that, and that's ready then. And the onions, you've seen at the start of this video, you saw me actually putting these in. Well, I did say to you, next time you see them, they'll be netted, and there we go, all netted up. This is open ground at the moment, and then potatoes along here. The Charlottes, which I've got here, I was expecting them to be the first to show their heads, because next to them I've got some King Edwards, and if you look, I'll try and zoom in, the sun's a bit, but if you look up there, some King Edwards starting to poke their heads through, so that's pretty good. And then finally, just to end with, this is the first lot of Hurst green shaft peas that went in. These again in the next day or two will have the netting taken off, and they'll have some canes put in and then be strung up. So that's it, that's plot tour for April. Well, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I entertained you in one way or another. The day I was doing those carrots in the barrel, you probably gathered it was quite a windy day, but we just soldiered on, just keep going. So until the next time, look after yourselves, be careful, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.